Okay. Good evening, Mr. Yap. My name is Manesha Tamodaran, the student of UUM. As you know, I'm here to conduct an interview for my assignment purpose. So thanks to you for agreeing to give me this interview for your time and everything, sir. So I really really appreciate. So
Yep,
first
no
of
worries.
all, Mr. Yap is the manager of MBO Cinemas in Ipopera. So we have a few ethic practice questions. So can we start
Mhm.
now?
Okay, so thank you for giving me this chance to do this interview. So of course, the questionnaires that you guys sent over to me, of course, first thing about the company. Of course, MBO, we are actually the third largest cinema operator in Malaysia. Of course, the first two, you know who is it? We actually have 26 cinema, but of course we have to close down two because those time is actually before the COVID time. We only have to close down the two because not doing so good. So at the moment, of course, in MBO cinema, the few things that is actually very special is because of all those, like for example, we have some special halls like big screen, like Kecil Hall, and also MX 4D and Premiere as well. Okay, so of course, our vision for MB is a great, excellent service to our guests. And of course, we try to, I would say, to top up to the first cinema operator. Yes, it's a long journey, but of course, it will take some time. Yep. So, of course, comes back to the second one. Your question is regarding on, okay, as a manager, how will you evaluate company board effectiveness? During those time, actually, MBO Cinema belongs to Nevis Capital. But most of the time, Nevis Capital actually doesn't actually shows, how to say, it doesn't actually shows inside our meeting. It doesn't attend. So our top management is always the COO, is our Chief Operating Officer. So far from their side of management, they are quite good. But in terms of the board of directors and above, so far we have never seen them before. We just know that they actually MBO belongs to Nevis Capital, and they are the investment company who actually pumps money into our company to run the operation. Okay, so of course comes to the third one is understanding of what is corporate governance. Okay, as I think, if I'm not mistaken, corporate governance is actually regarding on maybe there's a system or maybe there's a procedure that actually to run a corporate. Okay, of course, with corporate governance, we need to actually how to say there are certain duties and also certain rules to actually to give to a how to say what's the word to a role to do their part to run the corporation. This from my point of view of what I know about corporate governance. All right.
Okay, it's not
So
just
next up
about
with the
the
question, is the acting just an importance for working professional to make better decision on a daily basis at work? Yes, it's actually very important because if you don't have any working ethics, you will start to go to one side, meaning that suppose whatever you learn at school, yes, there'll be a lot of I would say there will be a lot of people actually tempting you to do something that is actually not supposed to. There's a reason why there's always rules and regulation in the company. Okay, is actually to safekeep your job and also to make sure that the company or the corporate to run smoothly without any issue. All right, so that's why acting is very actually very important.
to discipline the employee, right? To be an ethical
Yep,
worker. Yeah.
correct, correct. Okay, so of course the next one is okay. Will you recommend students taking ethics and government or course or modules? Do you think it's good to take? If yes, why? Yes, it's actually good to take because there's nothing wrong to learn more. To be honest, yeah, the more you learn, actually you get more knowledge and skill as well. Yeah, so whenever people are talking about, you know what is it? Yes, it may be a hard course or a module. If you take back to those time when we are studying in Form 5, history is actually not very important. Importance, I would say, is it not good? Not say not good. It's just that it doesn't use in our daily life. But if you're studying for law, yes, history is very important. So if you ask me, having an extra course or module to learn is actually important. At least you know the basics of the module. All right. So of course the next one is
So are you
okay, aware of the whistleblowing policy. Yes, definitely. Definitely, I'm aware because it do happen during my past working experience. We do have this whistleblowing policy, but a lot of times people do not dare to tell is because they were scared they will offend some of the top management or some people they're not supposed to offend. All right. So if yes, what will you do if an employee comes to you with a whistleblowing matters? Of course, when any employees come over with any things, the most important part is you don't jump to conclusion. You must be always be very fair when it comes to any situation, especially when it comes to whistleblowing, because you don't know who is actually sabotaging who. Okay, Of course, once it comes over to me, I'll have to investigate to a certain point to check from based on my point of view. Then if it's a very serious issue, then I will actually report it to my superior to tell what's my finding. Then it's up to the superior to decide whether they have to go through a bit more deep investigation, whether the employee is considered as a domestic inquiry or whether they actually have to be terminated or suspension during the investigation. So actually whistleblowing policy, if you ask me, yes, I will actually investigate first before I will report to my top management. All right. So of course, the next one is as a manager, what will you do to eliminate corruption in your company? So in terms of corruption in cinema, so far because we are actually at the outlet, it's actually very rare to see it. But there are always some people who are doing corruption inside the company. But of course, corruption is always start from the top. All right. So if, for example, if you are working at the bottom, the top one is doing corruption. Normally, you can't do anything. As I say, you don't want to offend them. All right, it's something that they don't teach inside the company because those are things you learn through experience. So if you are the top and you find those people who are at the bottom of doing corruption, yes, therefore you're able to take action because you are the top management. It's very hard to explain to you how it works, but once you know how it does, normally corruption always affect, always how to say, it always related to money. When there's money involved, yes, corruption will happen. If it's corruption, it won't be like 100 or 200. It can go to like 10,000 to 20,000 or maybe a long term. So yeah, so it's a very long term thing. So of course for you, it's a shock because yes, there are, but just that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen yet. All right. So of course, moving along, the next one is okay, if there's any situation you face regarding this issue, so far no.
So,
Okay,
sir, if
as I know,
no situation. So usually
no
corruption, right?
situation.
It's not only about it happening in politics. Right? Usually in a company, let's say,
Um,
for example, someone would like to be in a particular position, so they buy your seat. I mean, they buy the seat or bribe the manager or any higher
um,
particular
During my time when I was working in one of the cinema operator, not MBO, we do have some of those distributor, but they don't have in the company anymore. They do have the owner coming over to tell us what to do. All right. Of course, they actually wanted their movie to have more sessions. So of course, they tell us to add more session. Of course, we can't because there's a certain rules that we can't do it, and because we're not supposed to do unless our top management know. So of course, the owner will tell you that how much you want. I'll give you say maybe 6 to 1,000. You just say only. I'll put it under the table. Yeah, there are unless there are some certain. I said it actually relates into money because when we open more session for the movies that the owner wants, therefore they have more sales. So for them, 100 or 1,000 for that is nothing. But if you ask me, it's not the right way because as you can see, if you are actually taking 1,000 for the corruption just to help the owner, why is suddenly it actually backfired? All right, something happens, and the person had to explain is the person is actually me because I need to take responsible, not the owner. So that's the reason why the company is not here right now. I can't tell what's the company's name, but it's still not here right now. Okay, that's one of the ways that actually I have experienced through corruption, but it's not a lot, but it's considered one of the ways that I see it. All right. So the one that the number nine is number 10. Lastly, what do you expect a future employee or of your company to be? What ethics you need to have? Of course, right now when it comes to the company, because due to the pandemic, okay, MBO is actually having some hard time. All right. But if, for example, the company is doing good right now, of course, they actually to be honest, without the pandemic, MBO is actually doing quite strong because cinema industry is actually an industry that actually will not die. As long as there's moving being made by those movie actors or celebrities, yes, we cinema industry will be still going to a long way. So if you ask me what kind of technique that I need to give to the employees, yeah, it could be integrity. Because with integrity, yes, it actually falls into honesty. Everything will actually go through. Once you do something, you ask yourself, what's the integrity? Okay, you want to do your work or you don't want to do your work. You ask yourself, integrity, yes, I think I should. So I think for me, integrity actually plays a very important role. It actually not only helps in your work, but also in your daily life as well. So I hope that the answer I give you is good. So any question you want to ask or not?
not anymore, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for the interview. I really, really appreciate you have contributed a big mark to my assignment. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. No worries, no worries. If you have any question, if you don't understand, you can just send me a message. All right?
Thank you so much. Okay, bye, sir. Have a
Right.
nice day.
Okay. Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye, bye.